Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to episode 8 of my dream garage build. Things are going very, very well at the moment. In the last episode, we saw upstairs being finished off and plastered. This episode is all about the front aspect and some things that we thought would be way easier than they actually turned out being. Over the next week, we're going to close up the front, and you'll finally get to see a view of what the garage is going to look like from the outside. And I think it's going to be pretty special. The boys are actually still finishing off the plasterboarding. These sheets are proper heavy, but yeah, it's very nearly done inside. Anyway, the focus of this video is the front of the barn. And first thing is we've now got the opening for the door and the side window. This was made for us, bespoke, by a local carpenter, and he's done a brilliant job. We've got a hardwood doorstep down there. It's a standard size fitting for the door, which we haven't actually bought yet. In fact, we haven't even chosen it yet. So there'll be a door in that, and then there will be a glass window in there, and then we'll start to put all the shiplapping on. And what we're going to basically try and do is make it look very similar to Mike next door's. So in terms of door choice and finish, it's going to look very much like that. But yeah, we've got a huge amount of stuff to be done here. So we've basically got door and window just there, and then we're going to have lap wood all across the front there, and then there's two big old holes there, and those big old holes are going to have some doors, some garage doors. I mean, how difficult can it be to put garage doors in a garage? Well, it turns out it's way more difficult than any of us thought, especially if you want to automate them. So there's much to discuss in this video. Honestly, this is the bit I thought was going to be super easy, and it's proved a real headache, a real headache. So a big week this week in terms of closing the front of the barn up. First thing that happened yesterday, right at the end of the day, is the guys just put these two brick piers at the bottom, and then they could build the external frame. So these are the frames that the two doors are going to hang off. The question is, what kind of doors? Well, let me explain. So the original plan with this build, right from the get-go, was it to be a kind of barn style, and therefore the original planning that we had when we bought the house, and then we just adapted, had side hinged barn doors on the front. But when you come to automate doors, that's probably not necessarily the best type of door to automate. So we went through a range of different options. Had a lovely chat with one of my followers called Justin from Garage Ep8. I'm going to give you a big shout out, even though we didn't go down that route. And we looked at sectional roller doors that would roll up into the top of the garage. The challenge with those is we really wanted a timber finish, and the timber finished sectional doors, one, they're much more expensive than the artificial finish ones, but also the operation isn't quite as good. So we discounted sectional doors, because if we had the artificial finish, the likelihood is, because we live in a national park, we'd have to go back to have planning reconsidered, and we didn't want to do that. So we then thought, okay, well, we won't do the sectional ones. That's the same for the roller doors. Well, we'll just have the barn-style side hinge doors, but we'll automate them. So we then threw two different types of automation. First up was to have motors sunk into the ground at the bottom or the side of each door, and have those to actuate the doors. Two challenges with that. Firstly, very expensive. We were looking at about £6,000, and actually maybe a bit more than that just for the automation, let alone the doors. And then we were looking at having some doors made bespoke with a metal frame and then clad them in wood. But that very quickly, as a solution, the prices just started to ramp up and up and up. We were looking at maybe £10,000 for a pair of doors, which was ridiculous. I then thought, no worries, we'll have side actuators, rams on the side, a bit like I've got on my front gate. Turns out that they only really work if you're opening the door inwards. They don't work if you're opening the door outwards, so that didn't work. So at the moment, the plan is we've got side hinged barn doors, and then we're looking at an automation solution which is basically mounted on the ceiling, and there are two rods that connect to the top of the doors and open the doors for you. But that means aesthetically from the outside we still keep that barn feel, but I still get the automation that I want. And in the worst case scenario, I'm just not going to automate it because the costs just started to spiral. And as it is, we're trying to keep costs under control anyway, because the costs of the project are going up and up and up, as you can well imagine. But this week, we've got an exciting week because you can see the frame going in there. We've got the second frame just being built in that bay. The frame for the front door and window is in, and all the cladding, in fact a lot of the cladding literally arrived yesterday. So this is the timber cladding that we're going to be putting onto the side of the building to cover up that. That needs some insulating in there. You can see all the Celotex is in there. There'll be some more insulation needed, but yes, it's a big day for the front of the barn, or big week rather, for the front of the barn. Now then, I've actually been away for a whole week on a road trip. Keep an eye out on the channel, there will be a video coming about that very soon. But while I've been away, the builders have been very busy. Now luckily my mate Will has taken a few pictures of the progress as we've gone through, but let me just spin the camera around and show you what we currently have. So the front isn't quite all closed up yet, but what we have got is all of the ply lining, and this waterproof membrane has been put on. All of the battens have been put on, so we are now ready, I'm pretty sure this coming week, to put on the front fascia boards, which are all just there. So they're going to be looking absolutely fantastic. The door frames are in for both sets of garage doors. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about those later on in this video. They are both side hinged. They're standard width, but a little bit taller than normal, so they're being made specifically for us. And I'm going to talk also about the automation system which we're going to have in them, which is basically some wiring for it just there. And then over this side, the window frame and door frame are in behind that membrane. You can see them better from the other side. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that too. But inside the progress, well, the main thing is the garage space is now plastered, including the ceiling, and it just looks magnificent in here. It looks really big though. It's a big space this. You can see the plaster still drying out in places, but the ceiling is now fully plastered, and hopefully now you can start to get a feel for what I wanted the space to look like. This is all going to be painted white. I've got something very special happening with the floor and something very special happening with the ceiling. I'll be covering both of those things in separate videos. And then if I just bring that round here, we've also got the walls just here, back of the door frames. All of this is plastered and looking absolutely magnificent. I think you'll agree. There's still a little bit to be done. The door frames are in for the bike store and the tool room. These aren't yet plastered. It's a bit dark in there, and there's a little bit of plasterboarding still to go on just there. Same in the tool room, but we've got things like a water tank going in here and a couple of other things that need to be put in before the plastering can be done. And then here we've got the door into the kitchen, and what has been put on since I was away. We've now got a beautiful doorstep just there, and we've got the proper door frame. And then the kitchen is pretty much all plastered now. The little bits of plastering remaining, which I'm pretty sure will be happening this week, is that wall there and two sides of this post just here. And the boys have taken the ladders away, so I can't go upstairs, but what I can see, you might just be able to make it out along there, is they've also capped the top of the balustrade there, and the top of the balustrade just up there with wood. And now that the plastering has been done down here, the guys are able to make really good measurements, so we'll be able to order the stairs and get that sorted. And then if I just flick the camera around that way, you get a nice view of the door. So there's going to be a door on the left, glazed panel on the right hand side. So that all looks very cool. Now, busy life I have. I'm actually off tomorrow on a press trip. So tomorrow is Monday. I think that must be week 10 starting, I think. I'm losing track, to be honest. I'm going to miss 2 days, but let's see how they get on in the next couple of days. I think a lot of plastering is going to be done, but I really do want to start talking to you a bit more about the doors. But this space in here, look at it. One car there, one car over there, maybe some bikes on the walls over there. Awesome. Now, It's the end of the week. I haven't done a huge amount of filming of actual work being done, mainly down to very poor weather and also me not being around very much. But a lot of work has been done, although you have to look carefully. So I'm upstairs. Basically, everything's plastered now. So if I just show you even things like inside the storeroom, that is now fully plastered. And you might look at that and not think that's a big deal, but that was a really, really tricky space to plaster. All the plaster work is done up here. Even if we go inside the bathroom, all the plastering is now done around the services for the toilet, the outlets for the taps, for the sink, and in the shower area. A couple of people had asked about extract for the shower. That is extract for the shower. It goes up and then there's a little mini chimney almost that goes up outside. And then round into the office, again, little things here. We've got some, I think earlier on in the video I talked about the wooden capping on top of the balustrade. That is just a temporary fix. It just gave the plasterers something to plaster up to. That will be replaced with something a little bit nicer. Basically, we've got the staircase has been ordered. So when the staircase goes in there, the treads of the staircase, we're going to use the same timber for the top of these balustrades to tie them in with each other. But I think the next big thing that starts happening up here next week is painting. So we're going to have a whitewash put on. Again, I'm sure many of you know, and you've done any building or plastering, this plaster work, you need to put a whitewash on it because it's very absorbent at the moment, so that will suck in all the whitewash. So you put a whitewash coat on and then a couple of coats of paint. So painting starts next week, and hopefully we can get whitewash on up here, and then let's take a look downstairs and see what it looks like downstairs. But the biggest change is on the outside. So now we're down in the kitchen. Two big things that we've done off camera, if you like, is we've designed and spec'd the kitchen. It's not really a massively complex kitchen. If I just spin the camera around, basically we've got a wall or a line of units that goes along there with a fridge and a wash hand basin and so on. So that's been designed at the local kitchen place and ordered. And then also, now that the plastering's finished down here, we've been able to order the actual staircase. So that is being built at the moment, and that apparently when it comes isn't a big job to put in. So that will run up there and we'll finally be able to get upstairs not having to use a set of ladders. Now if we come in here, the big things that were missing downstairs is now we can come inside the bike store. The bike store is all plastered and ready for paint. And then also the tool store is plastered. Now, a couple of things in here, you see a pipe sticking out the wall just there. There's going to be a water tank in here that's going to feed the upstairs shower and wash hand basin, and there's some pipes sticking out the ceiling just there. And then we've got cables for things like the alarm system, and I guess second fix will start to happen very, very soon. But a lot of the work happened on the outside. I'm going to walk out, and as I walk out, you'll start to see the outside of the building behind me, and it just looks absolutely awesome. The boys have done such an amazing job of this. I said right from the outset we wanted to keep the barn feel. We're so pleased with the roof. I've said it a million times, that roof just looks like it's always been there. But we wanted it to sit on a building that kind of kept its agricultural roots, if you like. And we've got this beautiful timber work on the front. The detailing on here, the guys have just done it so beautifully. Now it's in a softwood, it's been treated, and the plan is to paint this, but we won't be doing that for probably about 6 months, because what we need to do is just let that wood sit and rest, and it's likely to contract a little bit. And the challenge is, because we want to paint it a similar colour to the back of the house, which I'll show you in a moment, it's like a dark grey, and the problem is if you do that and these timbers here contract, you end up little lines underneath here, and then you have to go back and paint it again. And actually also, we really, really like it in this colour. It was never the plan to keep it in kind of naked timber. Put in the comments what you think. What are your thoughts on whether we should keep it or not? The door was measured this week, so the carpenter is just coming back to us with a price on the front door and the glazing panel, and then the two side hinged doors. Again, although I kind of hoped in this video to kind of show you what they'd look like, that's going to take a little bit of time because they need to be made and then they need to be hung. But again, the door space was measured up this week, so we're just waiting for a quote and basically get those doors in place. But I think they're going to look absolutely magnificent. Now, I very rarely show you the back of the house, but this boot room here we put on only about sort of a year after we moved in. And this is the look that we want to kind of have. So the door, the kitchen door will be the same colour. That colour goes through the door and all of the windows. But also you can see we've got the same style wooden lapping with that kind of darker colour. So something like that. We probably won't have that exact colour. We're going to choose another colour and we'll paint the back of this as well because it's starting to weather now. We need to kind of update that and refresh it. But that's the style that we're looking for so that we can tie the two buildings together. Now, just a few of you had asked about whether you could see the old tiles and the new tiles on the back of the house. This is the little section of new tiles. But the other thing that we've had put on this week is the guttering. So the guttering's on. And then also, if you look at the top up there, you can see the little extract chimney. So yeah, the guttering start looking really, really smart. And we can come around the side of the house, and that's all the way along there. We basically just need to put that on the very frontage of the house. So next steps this week, it's little things now really. So fundamentally the building is there and it's just, honestly, we're so pleased with it. So painting starts this week on the inside. Big thing, get the whitewash on first of all. Then once the whitewash is on, we can start doing the proper paint work. The flooring, so we're having a wood effect floor. That was all measured up, so hopefully that we can start putting that in very shortly. We'll get a time frame for the doors this week with a bit of luck. And then Sean, the electrician, can come and start doing second fix and getting all the electrics in. And then the really big things is getting the staircase in, the bathroom in upstairs, which has all been ordered and we have it. We have all the bathroom stuff here, and getting the kitchen in. And then we're only, I think we're maybe a couple of weeks of lots of people on site. I think maybe just a bit of heavy lifting for another week or two, and then the real thing is painting and finishing it off. That's super exciting. But I do want to finish this video with a success story and a not so success story. I am sure if you watched the earlier ones, I think it was maybe the second episode, I talked about the fact I'd put up a time-lapse camera. So I put a time-lapse camera on the side of the house just here, capturing the build, okay? And you can probably tell by the fact that the case is empty that I have finally had a look at the time-lapse footage, because I put it up and I was a little bit worried because there's a little indicator. It said it was recording, but it wasn't using any power and it wasn't really eating any data on the data card. And I was really worried it wasn't working, and I left it for weeks because I couldn't really move it, because to move it I had to actually change the position of the case. So I just had faith in the fact it was working. And then I got to the point where it just playing on my mind so much that I had a little play with the back of the screen. Anyway, because the building's pretty much done from a frontal point of view, I took the camera, the data card out, the time-lapse camera today, and it was working to start with. And when I had a little play, what I've basically done is switch it off. So I've got time-lapse from the very beginning of the project, once the scaffolding was up, to just before the scaffolding came down. So I've got the roof being done. Unfortunately, I didn't get time lapse of this lovely timber work going on the front, but I thought I would finish this video with the time lapse of the build of my dream garage. But make sure you join in for the next episode. There's plenty to talk about in the next episode. There's some amazing things going to really take this building and just turn it up to the next level. Amazing kitchen and bathroom. And you just wait till you see what's going to happen inside that garage in terms of floor and lighting and decoration. It's just going to look wicked. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. Let me know, should we paint it or keep it like that? And here is the time lapse. Take it away. Let's have a look at the build from day one.